Blinky Bill Classic Treasury. Blinky Bill and the New Village. Blinky Bill was walking home after playing with his best friend, Splodge Kangaroo. It was just getting dark as he entered the animal village. This was Blinky's favorite time of day, when mothers cuddle sleepy babies, lights appear in windows, and delicious smells float out of kitchens. "Good night, Blinky," chirped a flock of young birds as they headed for their nests. "Good night to all of you," replied Blinky as they flew to the top of the tallest tree in the village. Blinky sniffed the air. Old Mr. Wombat was baking his last batch of hot, spicy gum leaf rolls for the day. "Hello, smells good," said Blinky, wearing his best smile. Mr. Wombat smiled back and shook his head. I know what you're going to ask me for. I know you're going to ask me for a bread roll, and the answer is no. It will spoil your dinner. Stop off here tomorrow, and you can take one to school with you." "Thanks, Wombo," beamed Blinky. "Don't call me Wombo. It's Mr. Wombo to you. Now get off home or you'll be late." "Mr. Wombat's right, Blinky. You better get home fast." Blinky walked to the village and met his friend Gloop Emu. He stuck one little finger into the water bucket. "Now I can tell Mom I washed before dinner," he said to Gloop. Gloop laughed. "I think I'll just wash the tip of my beak." Then he saw his mother and quickly stuck his whole head into the bucket. Blinky turned and saw Mrs. Emu frowning at him. "Oh, that's a lovely dress you're wearing, Mrs. Emu," said Blinky, and he quickly hurried off. "Thank you, Blinky. That's very sweet of you. But I'm still going to tell your mother about your washing trick," she called after him. As Blinky was running away from Mrs. Emu, he passed the platypus's house. Through the window, he saw his friend Flap helping Mrs. Platypus put his little brothers and sisters to bed. "Good night, Blinky. See you at school tomorrow," Flap called out. Blinky waved. "Yes, we can swap lunches again." Mrs. Platypus popped her head out of the door. "What did you say, Blinky?" Nothing, Mrs. Platypus." "Good night," Blinky said as he scuttled off to his own house. Later that night, after all the lights in the village were out and the cooking fires were just smoldering embers, a large truck loaded with a bulldozer and chainsaws pulled up at the edge of the village. "Hurry up and help me unload. We have to cut all these trees down tonight," said Harry. "Yeah, I know," growled Joe. "We have to be gone by daylight so nobody will know who stole them." "Stole them? You're going to steal those trees? You can't do that. And you certainly can't cut them down. It's against the law." Remember, everybody, follow the law, or else you'll be in big trouble. The bulldozer's engine started with a roar, and Harry drove it into the nearest tree, knocking it to the ground. Joe started cutting it up with a chainsaw. Harry smashed into a second tree, which fell and squashed the village bakery. Harry and Joe were working so hard and fast that they didn't notice the homes they were wrecking and didn't see the animals running for their lives. "Hurry up! Look out! This way! No, over here!" the terrified animals called out. They scooped up their children and ran into the night, looking for somewhere to hide. Oh no, they've destroyed Greenpatch. Hurry up, Joe. Put that saw on the truck. We've got to get out of here. It's nearly dawn, said Harry. We can come back tonight and cart away all this timber. As the sun came up, its rays fell on a tangle of fallen trees with broken doors, windows, and furniture poking out of the mess. Oh no, look what they've done to Greenpatch. Blinky had been dreaming of spicy bread rolls when his tree was pushed over, but a branch had hit him on the head and the bread rolls had disappeared. When he woke up, rubbing his sore head, everything looked different. Am I dreaming? He wondered. Or is my bed on the wall and the tree lying down? Blinky pinched himself to make sure he was awake. Ouch! That hurt. I must be awake. But why is the door on the roof and everything upside down? Something is wrong, or my name isn't Blinky Bill. Blinky climbed out of the tangle of leaves and branches and stood looking at the mess, wondering what had happened to the village. Then he started sniffing the air. What is that awful smell? Blinky wondered. He looked at his fallen tree and thought, I know, it's the smell of humans. This really frightened Blinky, as he had always been told to stay as far away from humans as possible. I'd better leave fast, he said to himself. He filled his handkerchief with a few precious things, including a spicy bread roll that he had found near the smashed bakery, and tied it into a swag at the end of a stick. Now I'd better go look for the others, said Blinky. Ooh, came a groan from a tangle of bushes. What was that? Said Blinky. Ooh, came the groan again. Blinky hurried over to look, but he only saw a doll lying there. He rubbed his eyes. I really must be dreaming. Dolls don't talk. Then that must mean there's somebody in those bushes. Ooh. This time, the doll moved. Blinky gasped. Then he noticed a hand holding the doll. He pulled away the branches, and there lay Nutsy Koala, groaning. Ooh. Are you hurt? Asked Blinky as he pulled Nutsy to her feet. No, but I'm scared. Aren't you? Replied Nutsy. Blinky was really scared, but he didn't want Nutsy to know that. So he said, What? Scared? Blinky Bill is scared of nothing. Whatever did this was big and horrible, said Nutsy. It was humans, said Blinky, and we better leave before they come back. So the two sad and frightened koalas set off, Blinky trying to look brave and Nutsy looking around fearfully. Oh, Blinky, look at that, said Nutsy. Yup. That's all that's left of Gloop's house, said Blinky. There's only half of Mrs. Possum's house left, said Nutsy. And there's nothing left of the Frillneck's house. Blinky turned away from Nutsy so she wouldn't see him wipe a tear from his eye. Blinky, it's okay to cry if you need to. As they crossed the remains of the old bridge near the schoolhouse, Blinky and Nutsy saw that a big tree had fallen onto the school building. Nutsy began to sob. It's so sad to see the school like that. Sad? It's not sad, Blinky replied. It's the only good thing that's come out of this mess. There'll be no school today. We must find the others, said Nutsy. So they set out through the bush, looking and calling, Anybody there? Yoo-hoo! Hello! Then they stopped to listen and heard a faint voice calling out to them, Over here! They hurried over and found Granny Koala sitting on a rock. Oh, yes, that's Granny Grunty, Blinky's grandmother. Are you all right, Granny? Asked Blinky. Yes, said Granny. I ran into the bush last night and got lost. Don't worry, Granny. You can come with us. We're going to find the others, said Blinky. Just then, a loud hopping, flapping, running noise came from the bushes. Splodge, Gloop, Flap, and Marcia Mouse appeared. Hi, Blinky! It's good to see you, called Splodge. All the other animals are at the caves, and when everyone realized you were all missing, we volunteered to look for you, said Gloop. And we found you, added Flap. And you're all okay, said Marcia. So they all set off for the caves, keeping a slow pace for Granny. When they reached the caves, there was loud cheering and much hugging. Mayor Pelican pushed his way through the crowd and said, Just like you, Blinky, to be late. Everyone laughed. Just then, the laughter died down as they remembered they were laughing in a cave and not in their village. Are we all going to live in this cave now, Mother? Asked a baby mouse. Yes, dear. The village has gone, and we have nowhere else to live. No, said Blinky. Why don't we go far up the mountain where the human machines can't go and build a new village like the old one? Only better. Yes, 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 cried all the animals, and there was more cheering. You know, Blinky, that's actually not a bad idea. He is one smart koala. Quiet! Quiet! Shouted Mayor Pelican. We have to be organized. Mr. Emu, Mr. Goanna, Mr. Kangaroo, start exploring for the new spot to build again. Right, they shouted and set off. Mrs. Koala, Mrs. Platypus, Nutsy, and Blinky, start picking berries, nuts, and leaves for food. And no way, replied Blinky. I'm going exploring too. And he hurried off after Mr. Emu and the others before his mother or Mayor Pelican could stop him. The explorers found a place on the mountain with a freshwater spring and hollow logs and trees, and here the animals built their new village. They dug and hammered and collected straw for roofs and mats. Some wove baskets, mats, and walls, and nests. Mayor Pelican organized a new town hall. Mr. Wombat built a new bakery with a bigger oven, and Blinky's mother found a new tree for her and Blinky to live in. Do you like our new home, Blinky? Asked Nutsy. Yes, I think I do, said Blinky. But the thing I like best about the new village is that we haven't finished building the school yet. Oh, Blinky, Blinky, Blinky. What would you do if you had to build a new village? And If you helped the animals build a new Greenpatch village, what would you add to it? Let me know in the comments below. See you later. Bye.